So this week, it would be easy to jump right to Ebola, 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 Ebola. But I think we should start with ISIL, the terrorist group that was supposed to be the JV team according to President Obama, that group. I think we should start with them because they made a lot of progress this week, even though we've been bombing them, and we are bombing them more, which is a good thing because every time there's one less IS, whatever we call them these days, or one less tank or truck or whatever they might be using, I do have to say that that is a step in the right direction. But of course, it's not enough steps, and we all know that. So this week, they continue to make a lot of progress. They're tightening a loop around Baghdad in Iraq. They continue to lay siege to Kobani in Syria. And we continue to not have a consistent policy that we could count on being successful. And I don't think that that's in dispute. So this week was no different. And I think there's the issue of the, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway, boots on the ground. It's a terrible term, right? Because we do that instead of just saying, hey, we got to put soldiers in the fight. And I don't doubt that some of our success in Kobani this week in Syria is coming because we really do have our special ops people there helping our Air Force now target IS fighters. This will come out, I'd almost guarantee that. But I think the most disappointing thing this week, on top of all the disappointing things that led up to it, would be Turkey. They are supposed to be our ally. They're a member of NATO. And President Obama and the Turkish leader Erdogan, they have this close friendship. I've heard the Turkish leader say that he speaks to President Obama often, and he referred to him as Barack Hussein Obama, as if there's this Muslim bond between the two. And so I would say that the idea that the Turkish forces are sitting and watching the Kurds, who are very brave by the way, battle, that they're, why they do nothing to help them, is cause, to say like, hey, maybe this ally Turkey is no longer worthy of being a member of NATO. I think a lot of us have gone there, and I think that it's time that we have a real discussion about whether they are our ally and whether they really should be a member of NATO. So this week, I would say the big development in the Middle East is that we're losing, and we have an ally there who is really not our ally. Of course, let's take a look at the big topic of the week, and that's Ebola. When the president and our government as a whole now says, hey, we have this, that's when we know they don't have it. This has happened over and over again. And so I think most of us felt that that would be the case with respect to Ebola. But I think when we look at this as a crisis, we should probably try and find the humor in it. And here's the humor. That we knew that Ebola would come to America because they told us, like I say, that it wouldn't. But the humor is this. Is that when they say that, hey, we have this great medical system, as we all know, that's the same medical system that we kept saying was broken for the last 10 years, but we have this great medical system, and that we can contain an outbreak. So don't worry, Ebola's fine. We found out last week, in the course of people who had been exposed, flying on airplanes and going on Carnival cruises, when they probably shouldn't have been, because one of them actually did come down with Ebola and has probably exposed, I don't know, hundreds of other people. But that aside, we actually found out how many beds are available in these like super containment wards. And this is something everyone should really, really understand. I think the media is starting to pick up on it because I posted about it on Facebook, and a lot of media types follow me there. So it finally made the news this weekend, but I think everybody should know this, that when it really, really comes down to it, there are 12 beds. There are only 4 hospitals in the United States out of 4,000 regional hospitals. 4 hospitals and 12 beds that have containment units that can treat Ebola. And so, and other diseases like Ebola that could be just as bad or worse. And so, if you live in New York, for instance, or California, 2 of the largest and certainly wealthiest states in the United States, California would be the 7th largest country in the world if it were its own country. There isn't a hospital in California that could do something for you. They'd have to fly you to Montana, like the little state of Montana, I think population less than 1 million people, to do something to help you. And it wouldn't matter if you're Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, let's go to Seattle, Bill Gates. You would actually have to be flown outside of your state because you didn't use your billions. And I'll talk about the rich people. Maybe they should spend some money on maybe dedicating a hospital or a containment unit to their local hospital so that there are more than 4 places in the entire United States and more than 12 beds. Because when the president said that we can handle an outbreak, a large outbreak of Ebola in this country, he meant a large outbreak of more than 12 people. And finally this week, I think we should look at something that didn't make the news, like say Ebola or ISIL, but there is a real killer out there that it certainly is killing more people than IS and more people than Ebola, and it's McDonald's. And McDonald's, besides being what I call a criminal enterprise, they sell a food-like product that we know is damaging people's health, and if eaten in large quantities, will kill them probably quicker than Ebola or IS. But over the last couple of weeks, McDonald's, to do something about their slumping sales, and mind you, their sales are slumping because people are coming to know just how bad their food is for one's health. And that is to stop that slide of sales, rather than improve their food, right? What most people would do, the right thing would be like, hey, maybe we should make some healthy food. What McDonald's has done is they hired the host of Mythbusters, and they've gone online to social media, and they have tackled questions like, is there really human meat in my McDonald's burger, or do you really make these things from worms? And of course, those are probably myths, right? I don't think anyone can prove that. But you only need to look at McDonald's own ingredients listed on their website or on the FDA website. And what you'll find is that they have things that actually kill worms, actually kill insects, actually kill people in their ingredients that are in their food. So you, for instance, you would find ammonium nitrate. It's a fertilizer. It's also a great material to make bombs from, like the one in Oklahoma that destroyed the federal building. That is just one thing you would find in all McDonald's buns. And so when McDonald's talks about busting a myth about something that's ridiculous, like a worm, they don't talk about the real poisons that are in their food. And to that end, they've started a campaign to misdirect the public and try and make it seem like their food isn't what it is, which is not food. And they follow that up, and to conclude this week, they followed it up with a LeBron James commercial. Great basketball player, if you haven't heard of him. And he actually goes to a McDonald's drive-thru. So one would have to believe that a guy who makes $100 million a year, when he chooses to eat out, has a big night out, where does he go? Let's see. Oh, he goes to McDonald's. So you'd have to believe that LeBron James eats at McDonald's. And then you'd have to make the association that to be like a great athlete, right? You need to eat at McDonald's. So, or it's okay if healthy people like LeBron James, who are great athletes, eat at McDonald's and it didn't hurt them. So, you know, to that one I'd say, like, if you believe it, shame on you. But for sure, like to a guy like LeBron James, I'm not a fan, to begin with, but now I'm even less so. How much money do they have to pay you, LeBron James, to try and convince people to eat poison? Because that's what you're doing, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And so that's this week with Stan. See you next week.